Alrighty, welcome everyone into Football Friday, presented by Football Addicts Anonymous. Unfortunately, Chris and Mark aren't going to be here today, but I do have my good friend Jack Fletcher stopping by shortly here once he is finished getting gas in his car as he drives uh, back to Athens for the weekend here. So, we had a lot of moves being made today, specifically to blockbuster deals in the top 6 picks. What's up, Jack? What's up, man? Just getting started, so I got on at a good time.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'll let you do your thing real quick then.
Yeah. So like I said, we were just having had some blockbuster deals today within the top 6 picks of the draft this year. We also had a lot of free agency moves this week that we'll work through here, as well as some that we forgot to mention last week or on Monday. That was my fault. I didn't read all my notes. So, anyways, we will get started here. Get the PowerPoint going. All righty. So let's start off. The first blockbuster trade of the day literally happened within 30 minutes, these two trades. So the Niners moving up to number 3 from 12. They send over a 2022 first, a 2022 third, and a 2023 first. Just a massive
my quarterback, man. They're gonna steal my quarterback. They're gonna steal Wilson from me.
Well, from what I hear, Zach Wilson's pro day was today, and he looked good, obviously. But from what I hear, Wilson's locked into 2. So it's
he's going 2 now. So I guess
it's gonna be.
They're getting Justin Fields.
Yeah. I think the consensus is Lance, actually, for what the Niners want to do. But someone also mentioned Mac Jones, possibly.
At 3? You're kidding.
I know. I don't know. I forget who that was that mentioned that today. I don't remember if it was Chris Sims, possibly. I don't remember who that was. But yeah, the draft starts at 3. So
fair enough.
We already kind of knew that with the Dolphins sitting there not needing a quarterback, but now it'll be who do the Niners take. So that was the first. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, by the way, to all the podcast listeners out there who don't recognize my voice, you probably shouldn't. I'm Jack Fletcher. I'm an avid Falcons fan, and I'm one of Rusty's good friends in Athens. I don't know if you already introed me, but I was a little late to the party here.
Yeah, no, I just said you're getting gas and on your way back to Athens for the weekend.
Yes, I am, sir. Feels good to be heading back to the good city. We need some dogs football game, man. Just after college.
The second blockbuster today involved the team that I am currently wearing, the Philadelphia Eagles. They moved back 6 spots. Dolphins again in a trade, moving back up to number 6, collecting the Eagles' 5th-round pick as well, number 156 overall. The Eagles in return get number 123 overall, the Dolphins' 4th-round pick, as well as their 2022 first-round pick. So the Eagles now, what they did was they tried to get up to get Wilson. They wanted Wilson. They thought he was the best quarterback prospect that was available after Trevor Lawrence, and they figured they couldn't get up high enough to get Zach Wilson, so they just stockpiled picks, and now they could have potentially 3 first-round picks in 2022.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did I see a rumor that Miami was also trying to get that number 3 pick before they traded for the 6th pick? Or was that a different team I'm thinking of? I thought I saw a rumor where somebody was trying to get the 3 pick, but the 49ers got it instead.
Well, I don't know if there's – I'm trying to think who else was in the mix. Well, because I know the Niners had discussions with the Dolphins at 3, the Falcons at 4, and the Bengals at 5. But the Niners never talked to the Jets about going up to 2. So they just tried to get as high as they could. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the Eagles, I know, wanted Zach Wilson if they could have got up that high to get him. But they figured that they couldn't. So they just stockpiled picks and are going to go with Jalen Hurts. And potentially, I mean, that's the thing that people are saying now is that, okay, Hurts is going to be the guy for 21, but with most likely 3 first-round picks in 22, you now have the ammo if you want to go up and get a quarterback next year. But the quarterbacks next year, I do not impress me at this point.
Hey, fair enough, man.
So I don't know. I do like the Eagles getting extra picks and building that way. They just actually need to hit on some draft picks like they haven't done recently. So,
well, I mean, that sounds a lot like my Falcons.
All right. We had another trade too this week, not even close to the first 2, but Vikings picking up an offensive lineman, getting Mason Cole from the Cardinals in exchange for a 2021 6th-round pick. Cole most likely going to guard, considering the Vikings already have center Garrett Bradbury penciled in there. Played center for the Cardinals. Solid guy out of Michigan a couple years ago. But, yeah, Vikings solidifying the offensive line there.
Hey, man, if you're the Cardinals, you just got to hope that 6th pick is going to turn into some sort of Tom Brady type character, you know?
Well, they already have their quarterback, but
no, it doesn't have to be a quarterback. I'm saying you can get like some Richard Sherman type. That's what I should have gone with.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that is all the trades. So we will go back into other NFL news. So starting off here, Washington, the football team, their owner Daniel Snyder, he is now the sole owner of the Washington football team. He was already the majority owner, bought out the rest of the 40.5% of the minority owner share. $450 million was the total price, and the NFL Finance Committee approved the debt waiver for it. So,
they're smart enough to jump ship before it sinks, man. Dan Snyder, that dude's toxic, man.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
only one owner now in Washington. So keeping within the NFC East there, the Cowboys, they're going to end up losing 2 defensive linemen here. They're not going to re-sign Alden Smith. They told him that this week. Very solid bounce back after multiple suspensions. I believe he had, I don't know the exact sack numbers. I think it was 5.5, something like that. But yeah, I think he's going to be a pretty good depth addition for whoever can pick him up here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's if he, doesn't get himself suspended.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the problem with guys like that is like, he's got all the talent in the world. Like, he killed it with San Francisco a few years ago. It's just like,
yeah,
you can't trust him not to get in trouble. It's the same as Josh Gordon. I mean, he can be an impact player on any team he plays for. It's just, is he going to be on the field?
Right, definitely. Like I said, the Cowboys are going to lose a couple defensive linemen here because Tyrone Crawford is retiring after 8 years with the Cowboys there. Not a big name, but again, a solid depth guy for the Cowboys over his 8 years. So happy retirement, Tyrone. Possibly, we talked about 3 trades earlier. Another possible trade here. Teams have been calling the Bengals. They've been inquiring about running back Gio Bernard. I mean, he is probably one of the best receiving backs in the league. I don't like him because he's not a pure runner necessarily. So,
what do you think they can get for him?
I would say the ceiling is probably a 5.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a stud at North Carolina. He's been very serviceable last couple of years too.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has filled in well for Joe Mixon at times when Mixon's had his injury issues in Cincy. So, you know, I don't know. We'll have to see if Gio Bernard's on the moves soon.
What do you think his ceiling is? Like, if he was actually like a lead back on a team for, half a season, just to give him a shot, like, what's his ceiling these days?
I wouldn't want him as a lead back. That's the issue.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
I wouldn't want Mike Davis as a lead back, and yet here I am.
Yeah, I mean, I would like Gio Bernard as an RB2 slate change of pace, primary receiver back. All right, let's talk about some restructures here and reworkings of deals. So, the Lions, they got $15 million in cap savings. They restructured quarterback Jared Goff's deal, keeping him in Detroit for the foreseeable future. The Bills, they restructured corner Tre'Davious White's deal. That saved them $7.508 million. Giants also getting some work done, restructuring corner James Bradbury and linebacker Blake Martinez. In total, that was $7.5 million in cap savings there. The Texans, they reworked linebacker Whitney Merciless's deal. That saved $4 million this year, and that also took off a year of his deal, so he will now hit free agency next year instead of in 2023. The Steelers, they also restructured tight end Eric Ebron's deal. That was $3.9 million in savings for a cap-strapped Pittsburgh team. And then I think the most interesting rework of the week here, the Raiders got a rework deal done with quarterback Marcus Mariota. It's a 1-year, $3.5 million deal, $8 million max with all the incentives he can make. But yeah, I mean, Vegas and Mariota, that saga was, I thought, heading to a release. But he took a, what was it, I think it was a $7.2 million decrease in salary from 10.7 to 3.5 million. So
But he got that as a signing bonus, didn't he?
No,
He didn't just take a straight pay cut, did he?
They strictly wanted him to take a pay cut.
Oh wow!
But like I said, it's $8 million max value with incentives in there. If he plays, I mean, he only played 1 game last year, so Derek Carr's. So
Derek Carr is there.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes out there and he throws the ball a few times a game. That's how I feel about him. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't feel like he's a bad quarterback. I don't think he's going to win him a Super Bowl.
I don't know.
I don't think Mariota's going to win one for him either. They're kind of stuck in that weird, just good enough to make the playoffs type thing to me.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you trade 3 of your 5 starting offensive linemen in the same offseason. So
Yeah, that doesn't help anything either. Like, I mean, what do you do if you're the Raiders? Like, how do you even get better? What moves do you make?
I have no idea. They made a lot of interesting moves. Them and the Texans. They're in the there's some funny category right there. All right, couple releases here this week. The Isaiah Wilson saga just got worse. Traded from the Titans to the Dolphins, now released by the Dolphins. This comes after he was arrested and he's facing multiple charges for a high-speed car chase this week. Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Wilson is in a pretty bad spot right now.
Not a great spot. Not a great situation.
And I think it made it worse whenever the reports came out that the Dolphins offered to help, and he said, "No, I don't want help." I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. Like,
You hate to see it.
The Steelers, we already knew this was coming, but they released corner Steven Nelson. Tried to trade him, did not get anything worked out with anyone. So good, solid starting corner available now, along with, I mean, Richard Sherman is still out there. I've said this for like since free agency started. Richard Sherman is still out there, people. Him, and now, like I said, Steven Nelson, another solid corner available on the market now. So
where do you think they're gonna go? What's a good spot for Sherman? What have you been saying?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I've just been saying Richard Sherman's still out there because Chris, my co-host Chris, he's a Jets fan, and he's thought that a lot of the Niners defensive free agents would come to New York because of Saleh, and not a lot of them have. So, and I keep saying, I'm like, dude, Sherman's still out there, and the Jets need secondary help. So,
well, the problem is they're still the New York Jets. Like, I mean, sorry, Chris, but like, they're still the New York Jets. Like,
yeah,
that's all I got for you.
I mean, he's gonna go to a team that plays primarily zone, because that's what he's played throughout his career, really. And the cover 3 scheme in Seattle, and I believe Salah's scheme was similar to the cover 3 that Dan Quinn ran in Seattle. I would say Dallas because that's where Dan Quinn is now, but that's probably not an option considering they have young corners down there already in Trayvon Diggs, and they just re-signed Jordan Lewis. So
also, it's kind of a train wreck in Dallas, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you combine Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn, and what do you have? A train wreck. Like, come on. We saw what happened with Dan Quinn in Atlanta. His defense fell apart, and he's supposed to be this defensive. Yeah, can't even speak words anymore. He's supposed to be this defensive head coach, and our defense finished like bottom 25 every year, like 25 and up in the worst defenses. You know, Mike McCarthy blew his chance with the Packers like 6 years in a row.
Yeah, I Dan Quinn is definitely one of those guys that is better coordinator than head coach. It's just like him, Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, another guy. It's a better coordinator than head coach. So yeah, I think he'll.
Yeah, I mean, well, you think about it, like when the Falcons made the Super Bowl back in 2016, and you guys can spam me with 28-3, whatever. I'm over it. But like when he was the head coach that year, he was basically the defensive coordinator. He basically went to Kyle Shanahan and was like, you're going to run the offense. I'll run the defense. Do your thing, bro. I'll basically be a coordinator who's like titled head coach. And that worked. And then he left the next year, and all of a sudden he had to be a head coach, and he tanked every year.
Yeah. All right. The another release that literally just happened today. The Seahawks, they released former second-round pick defensive tackle Jaron Reed, due $8.325 million this year. They tried to trade him. Again, same situation as Steven Nelson. Tried to trade him. Actually tried to make him take a pay cut. Didn't want to do that. Then they tried to trade him. Didn't get anything done. So, yeah. Like I said, another defensive guy out there. Solid interior presence with pass rush upside. So, yeah. Jaron Reed available now. All right, let's get into re-signings here. So we already said on Monday the Patriots re-signed center David Andrews, but got the full details of his deal during the week here. 4 years, $19 million, $6.5 million fully guaranteed there for David Andrews and the Patriots. Patriots also re-signed defensive lineman Lawrence Guy to a 4-year, $11.5 million deal. That's very team-friendly deals for one. But, two guys that aren't at the top of their positions, but still, I thought both of those guys probably were going to get more money elsewhere. But Patriots are looking a lot better this offseason than they did last year.
Yeah, they are. But, there's been this effect with Patriots players over the years. Like, they play for the Patriots and they play really well for the Patriots. Then they get traded or signed somewhere else for big money and they don't produce the same way because, Belichick is just a god. Like, let's be honest here. That man is awesome. Like, last year, whatever. They weren't supposed to be great last year after Brady left them. But, I think teams are smartening up to that, especially with COVID. I think COVID's a big factor for why these guys are having to take pay cuts because teams just didn't really make that much money last year, compared to what a normal year would be. I don't know. What do you think about the Patriots are going to do next year? How are they going to
finish? Well, I think with the tight ends, I think that was the most impactful signings for the Patriots because that's what Cam Newton is. He's most comfortable throwing to a tight end. He had Greg Olsen in Carolina.
Yeah. I was about to say Greg Olsen and him had a great connection.
Yeah, so I think Jonnu Smith is going to be the more receiver tight end. Hunter Henry will be the blocker, but also obviously he can catch as well. But I think the Patriots are running it back to their early 2010s. They're going to go two tight ends most of the game. So
that's what I was thinking too. That's honestly what Belichick feels more comfortable with, I think. That worked back in the day. Why not try it again?
Yeah, definitely. The Jags got a deal done re-signing punter Logan Cook. Multi-year deal, $3 million per year. Big money for a punter there in Jacksonville. The Bucks, they signed offensive tackle Donovan Smith to a 2-year, $31.8 million extension through 2023. That's $30 million guaranteed as well. And we'll see. The Bucks got some other deals done too to bring more people back. So
the Bucks are going to be the first team in NFL history to bring back all 22 starters from their Super Bowl team.
Yep.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Man, I hate Tom Brady. I hate him so much. I want him to lose. I just want him to go 0-16 next year.
Well, one of the teams he played in the Super Bowl against, the Seahawks, talked about them releasing Jaron Reed, but they did re-sign two defensive linemen. Uh, Carlos Dunlap, 2 years, 16.6 million, 8.5 million guaranteed, as well as Benson Mayoa, 2 years, 8.8 million, 4.61 million guaranteed there. And I thought Dunlap, I thought that was a really good move for the Seahawks. I thought he produced very well for them coming from Cincinnati in the midseason trade. And I wasn't sure where they were going to go with their pass rush if Dunlap was he was allowed to walk in free agency, but they got him back, luckily for them. So,
Yeah, I mean, Dunlap has been solid his entire career. Any team that has him is going to be lucky to have him.
I agree. The Packers, they re-signed tight end Mercedes Lewis, 2 years, 8 million, 4 million guaranteed there. And I didn't know this about Mercedes Lewis, but the man will be 37 this season.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we sure he's still breathing?
I didn't even know he was that old. Started in 06 with the Jags. So yeah, Mercedes Lewis still going. The Colts, they got back their number one wide receiver, re-signing T.Y. Hilton, 1 year, 10 million, 8 million guaranteed there. Never really thought T.Y. was going to leave anywhere. But yeah.
I didn't either. I've never been as hyped up about T.Y. as everybody else has. Like, I mean, he's a solid receiver, but I think he's like a number 2 receiver on most teams. Like how do you feel? Am I crazy for thinking that he's not that great?
No, I agree. I've never been a big T.Y. Hilton fan either. Especially, when we look at fantasy. People always draft T.Y. in like the second, third round. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like the
probably
second
gonna miss half the season.
Go. He's like the second round of receivers to go, and I'm just like, you're reaching for this guy. It's insane.
Yeah, he's probably gonna miss a quarter to a half of the season every year. So,
yep. What do you think about the Wentz connection with him? Like, Wentz is with the Indianapolis now, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Wentz is going to a Colts team that's not going to be as good as they were.
Why do you say?
Their defense is still going to be solid, but for one, they're trying to find a new left tackle. Anthony Costanzo retired. T.Y. is another year older. That doesn't help. Plus, I know he has Trey Burton there still and Jack Doyle, Mo Alley Cox, all the freaking tight ends they got in Indy, but I don't know. I just don't think the Colts are going to be as good offensively as they were. I think the Anthony Costanzo thing is the biggest thing for me, not having that solid side.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. At the same time, you could argue that having, I don't know, would you say that Wentz is a better quarterback than Phillip Rivers was?
Yeah. I mean, I think if anyone, they're banking on the Frank Reich connection to get Wentz out of the funk that he was in Philly the last couple of years. But the difference from what how Wentz was playing in Philly from how Rivers was playing in Indianapolis was Rivers already knew, like, I don't have that much time left. So, I mean, Rivers has always, I feel like, played pretty free and open, but he really in Indianapolis, he knew, like, all right, this is probably my last year, so it doesn't really matter where I throw the ball or how well I play, it's be done anyways, so I can have fun with it, and he did. So, I mean,
that's a funny way of putting it. I like
it. The Packers also re-signing cornerback Kevin King to a 1 year, $6 million deal, keeping guys in the secondary there. And like you said, Jack, the Bucs bringing back the 22nd starter today, re-signing running back Leonard Fournette, 1 year, $4 million deal there. Again, I have already put a wager in for the Super Bowl matchup, Super Bowl 56. And I have said it pretty much all offseason so far. Bucks, Bills. They're both doing the same thing. They're bringing their guys back. And yeah, they just both seem like the best teams in their conference.
It's so sad because I have to agree with you and I hate it. I mean, Rusty, you know how much I hate the Bucks.
Yeah.
every time they throw Tom Brady on the screen, you know what I say. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on the show, but I'm not going to.
Mark does sometimes, so. That's only when he's drinking, though.
God, I need to see that man drinking again. It's been a few too many weeks.
Well, I know you won't be here, but we are going golfing on Monday morning, so.
Yeah, and I'll be working too, man.
Yeah. The Patriots re-signed running back James White, 1 year, $2.5 million, fully guaranteed. I didn't think James White was going to be back in New England, considering literally everybody thought he was going to Tampa to be with Tom. So, stayed in New England though.
Belichick is evil. I think he just holds things over people. I don't know. He's got some weird voodoo magic that just keeps everybody there, except for Tom. But he kept them there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think Belichick was like, well, I already let Tom go to Tampa. I already let Gronk go to Tampa. I can't let James White go to Tampa too.
He's like, I can't see all of my guys win a Super Bowl without me. This would be ridiculous.
The Niners, they re-signed corner K'Wan Williams, 1 year, $2.378 million deal there. Very solid starting slot corner, nickel back there for San Fran. The Jets, they signed Eagles defensive end Vinny Curry, 1 year, $1.3 million, $1.075 million, fully guaranteed there. Vinny Curry is not what he once was. I will say that.
Yeah, he's dropped off a little bit. What do you think it was? Do you think it's system or just him?
No, I think he's just getting older. He was re-signed by the Eagles like twice. He was with the Eagles 3 different times in his career. So.
Yeah, how old is he now? He's like 34 now, isn't he?
Somewhere around there. 33, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, well.
The Bills, like I said, Bills re-signing people. They got wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie back, 1 year, $1.15 million, $350,000 fully guaranteed there. And they get their punt returner back as well. I mean, that's what Isaiah McKenzie does for them. One of the better returners, I think.
Yeah, man, they're trying to take away the impact of, kick returners, punt returners, but, they still are a big difference maker in the NFL these days.
Yeah.
They still can be, at least.
Yeah, definitely. The Steelers, talked about them releasing Steven Nelson, but they did re-sign his replacement. Corner Cam Sutton, he got a 2-year deal with Pittsburgh there. He will now start opposite of Joe Hayden there in Pittsburgh. Steelers also re-signing linebacker Robert Spelaine, 1-year deal there to go back to Pittsburgh. I really like Spelaine. He came out of nowhere as an undrafted guy, filled in for not Bud Dupree. Filled in for Devin Bush and the likes, Vince Williams, whenever those guys were hurt. So yeah, love to see Devin Bush coming back off an injury. Not sure if Spelaine is going to be the guy to start in the middle with him. I guess he would be at this point, considering they released Vince Williams as well. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
The Panthers, they re-signed offensive lineman John Miller to a 1-year deal. A lot of offensive line work needed in Carolina. Bengals also needed offensive line work, but they re-signed offensive lineman Quentin Spain to a 1-year deal, who they got from the Titans last year. So the Patriots, they re-signed exclusive rights free agent fullback Jakob Johnson to a 1-year deal. Not sure how much they're going to use fullback. I mean, granted, they, like I said, probably going to use 2 tight end sets. So power run with Sony Michel. Go ahead.
Look, here's the thing. When Barstool Sports goes on and on about fullbacks, you got to sign a fullback. It's what the Patriots did. They did a very smart thing. All you need is a good fullback, and you can win championships again. That's why the Falcons haven't won one. We don't have a fullback.
The Chiefs, they re-signed wide receiver Demarcus Robinson to a 1-year deal, going to fill in for Sammy Watkins now, I would think, as the wide receiver 3-4-ish in that range, with him and me Cole there, the second half of the wide receiver group. So Bears, they brought back corner Artie Burns to a 1-year deal. I don't think Artie Burns really did anything for Chicago.
I still don't understand why they let Fuller go. I just don't understand it. Can you give me some reasoning for it?
They don't want to pay him his $10.5 million that the Broncos only went down $1 million on. So
it's ridiculous, man. So my boss is a very big Bears fan. So every day this week, what I've been doing, I feel like you'll enjoy this. He's not a fan of Andy Dalton. I'll put it that way. So every day this week, I found a different Andy Dalton picture to put as my backdrop on our virtual meetings that we do every day. And every single time I got kicked out of the meeting, and I just started like laughing my ass off. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, the guy goes crazy about it. It's awesome. Love my boss, by the way. But like, holy shit, it's fun to mess with him about Andy Dalton. Like the Bears posted a picture of a QB1 for the Bears. They put a picture of Andy Dalton. Yeah. I sent that to him, and he said, "You're kicked out of all my meetings."
Very solid there. All right. The Washington football team, they re-signed a couple special teams guys. Corner Danny Johnson, who was their primary kick returner last year, as well as linebacker Jared Norris. Mack Collins continues to be in the NFL somehow. The Dolphins re-signed wide receiver Mack Collins. Continues. I do not know how Mack Collins still has a jot, but
I don't know who that is, actually. I'm not going to lie to you.
Former Eagle, got released, got signed by the Dolphins a couple of years ago. Or I don't know. I don't even know if it was last year because he bounced around a little bit before he got to Miami. But yeah,
I think you didn't like him as an Eagle.
Well, one career highlight that Mack Collins does have is that he was the guy that caught the pass from Ryan Fitzpatrick, the miracle pass against the Raiders this year to set up that game-winning field goal. So,
gotcha. Okay.
The Broncos, they re-signed corner Kareem Jackson. Older guy, but still serviceable, I guess.
Yeah.
The Vikings, they re-signed running back Amir Abdullah. their primary kick returner as well there from Minnesota has carved out actually a pretty solid kick return role for the Vikings in recent years. So, and the last re-signing here, the Niners, they re-signed defensive end Jordan Willis, got him from the Jets last year, sticking around in San Fran for another season. So, all right. That is all the re-signings. Let's go to the free agency signings here. First one is one that we forgot to mention on Monday, but the Giants signing wide receiver Kenny Galladay, 4 years, $72 million, $40 million guaranteed, $76 million in max value there. Wide receiver 1 now in New York.
Yeah, don't worry. If Daniel Jones trips over himself again, he'll be there to pick him up.
This is very true. The Seahawks, they signed Niners defensive end Kerry Hyder, 3 years, $16.5 million, $17.5 million max value there. Again, they keep getting defensive ends. I think the Seahawks need to start focusing on defensive tackles instead. Because now they have Benson Mayoa, Kerry Hyder, and Carlos Dunlap at defensive end, and no one beside Puna Ford at defensive tackle. So the let's see, Panthers. I was actually kind of really excited about this signing. They signed Cardinals tight end Dan Arnold, 2 years, $6 million there, and Peter Schrager loves Dan Arnold. He loved him when the Cardinals had him last year. Thought he was going to break out. Had an okay season for them. But the Cardinals don't use their tight end in Cliff Kingsbury's offense. So he came to Carolina this year. He's going to break out. He's going to have a fantastic season with whoever the quarterback is, be it Teddy Bridgewater, Deshaun Watson, or someone else.
Fair enough. Dude, what do you think about all this Deshaun Watson news going on?
I don't know.
With all the allegations, what do you think?
I mean, from what I know about Deshaun Watson, he's a stand-up guy. And I don't, do I know if it's true or false? No, of course not. But yeah, from what I know about Deshaun Watson's character is there have never been any red flags. So
that's what I've always heard too. It's like I've never heard like a single bad thing about him. He grew up in Georgia, not too far away from where I grew up, and I never heard a single bad thing about him. So like when I started seeing all that, I was kind of surprised. Like clearly, when a girl says something is wrong, like something's wrong, But I just didn't think it would be Deshaun Watson. Like if it is true, do you think he's even going to play next year?
I mean, if he gets traded, he will. If he doesn't get traded, then sounds like he's going to sit out and force the Texans' hand. But
I'm not even talking about a sit-out type thing. I'm talking about like punishment from the league type stuff. Is this something they can punish him with and suspend him?
Yeah, they're investigating it under the personal conduct policy, but at this point, I think it's way too early in the whole process to know exactly which way it's leaning. So,
yeah, fair enough.
Speaking of
Bridgewater being the quarterback in Carolina, though.
Yeah. Someone today said the real winners of the two trades. Someone was saying the loser was the Panthers, sitting at number 8 and trying to move up to get a quarterback. Now that most likely quarterbacks are going to go top 4 picks. Someone was like, well, the Panthers are the real winners when they draft Justin Fields at number 8. So, I mean,
you think they'll drop that far?
Well, it could happen. If the Mac Jones to San Francisco hype is real, I've heard Atlanta. I've heard Trey Lance to Atlanta is really a good fit. So,
Nah, dude, he's a bust waiting to happen. He can stay in North Dakota.
Dolphins sitting at 6. They're going to take a skill position player.
Yeah, they got Tua.
Bengals are going to take either a skill position player or a tackle. And sitting at 7 is the Lions. Lions don't need a quarterback either with Goff. So
They might as well. Goff is horrible.
Well, we know that, but they're committed to Goff at this point. So, yeah, I mean, it is feasible. There is a way for Justin Fields to get to number 8.
So I guess it'll be either Fields or Mac Jones or Lance, whichever one drops out of the 4.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't want either Fields or Trey Lance. So, but that's just me.
I don't really want Mac Jones either. I want Zach Wilson.
This is true. All right. We're just talking about Texans. So the Texans, they signed Jets pass rusher Jordan Jenkins, 2 years, $6 million there. Again, the Texans just signing everyone this offseason. So, Jack, your Falcons, you already kind of said about it, but signed Panthers running back Mike Davis, 2 years, $5.5 million, $3 million guaranteed.
Suck. We are so bad. We're gonna go like 2-14 next year. Like, name a single person on our defense outside of Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones.
Well, that was the whole plan of why the Falcons were going to take a quarterback this year, because everyone says, well, they don't expect to be back in the top 5 anytime soon.
God, we are so bad. We have been bad for like 5 years, but we've been hiding as a good team.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, man. Who wants Matt Ryan? Can we trade him to anybody?
Not with what his cap hit is, no.
Hey, told me that he would take him. Can we work something out with the Bears? They don't need Andy Dalton. We'll take him for a year.
Yeah.
Give us Roquan. Send him back to Atlanta.
The Jags, they got Trevor Lawrence's backup quarterback, signing Niners quarterback CJ Beathard, 2 years, $5 million there, $2.75 million guaranteed. I think that's a solid signing, and that also means most likely Gardner Minshew is out the door, whether via trade or release. So, granted, teams have been calling about Minshew, so we'll see if Jacksonville gets something done with someone.
I'll take Gardner for a year. I'll take some Minshew up in
Atlanta. The Cardinals got Patrick Peterson's replacement, signing Malcolm Butler to a 1-year, $6 million deal there. Cowboys, they're signing all the former Falcons, Jack. They got safety Keanu Neal, 1 year, $5 million there. They also signed safety DeMonte KZ today. So
I really liked KZ when he was in Atlanta. I really liked him. Like, he's not a superstar. Like, he's not gonna change the game for you, but he's always gonna be there. He's always gonna be there trying to disrupt the play. He won't always succeed. Like, he's definitely like backup quality, I would say. But he's a really good replacement if somebody goes down.
Yeah. Well,
I think all the Falcons signing there in Dallas, huh?
Well, he had like a 5, and wasn't it like a 5 interception season a couple years ago?
I can't remember exactly. He might have. It might have been the year that Trevon was just all over the place. I mean, I think all these secondary players signing with Dallas really, like, I could shit on Dan Quinn all I want to for being a bad coach, but like, he was definitely a good man. Like, I don't want anything bad for him. I want him to have success going forward. I just didn't want him to be the coach of the Falcons, but the players really cared for him. I think that's why he stuck around as long as he did. But they're following him around, man. I still think he can do good things in the league.
Yeah, definitely. The KC signing was necessary in Dallas because of the news that Keanu Neal is moving to weak side linebacker there for the Cowboys. So not playing safety.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
Nope. Yeah. Keanu Neal will not be playing safety. He'll be playing linebacker this year for the Cowboys.
All right, I take all the good coordinator stuff back about Dan Quinn. That guy's a moron. Neal was meant to be a safety.
Well, that was the move to linebacker was the thought of most teams around the league when they were looking at signing Keanu Neal. So
I don't understand why. What do they see?
I don't know.
What do they see that I don't?
I don't know.
You got any insight on this?
Huh?
Do you have any insight on that?
No, I just know that he's moving there, and that was the thought of during his free agency. So,
Okay.
The Eagles got their backup quarterback as well, signing Jets quarterback Joe Flacco, 1 year, $3.5 million, fully guaranteed. And I am not a fan. It's a good story. Joe Flacco comes back home. He's from the Philadelphia area. So, and he was an Eagles fan growing up. So, good story that way. But
I'm sorry, you signed with the Eagles? Jets.
He was the Jets quarterback last year. So
that's right.
He's with the Eagles right now. So,
gotcha.
I don't like it.
Are you excited for him to be starting in Week 8?
I still thought the best available backup quarterback option for the Eagles, and I've said this for I don't know how many weeks now, RG3. I thought RG3 was the best option for the Eagles out there. He is a mobile quarterback, just like Jalen Hurts. RG3 has matured very well while he was in Baltimore, and he is a serviceable backup that can play and play well when he's had to, like he did against the Steelers this past year. Granted, he got hurt in that game, which has been an issue, but yeah, I mean, I thought RG3 was still the best option for the Eagles, and obviously they didn't feel that way.
So what's the over-under on Joe Flacco making his first start? I'm going to give it 5.5 weeks.
I highly doubt he starts unless Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
I'm sticking with my 5.5 weeks, Mark. I think it's going to be tight. I think that's I don't even know if I want to go over or under. That's the one. Man, I could see him starting Week 6. They gave up on Wentz. Why not give up on Hurts?
They don't have a better option at this point.
Yeah, so put in Flacco in Week 6.
Not a better option. The Chargers, they signed offensive lineman Oday Abushi, 1 year, $2 million deal. Chargers, another team desperate for offensive line help, trying to protect Justin Herbert there. Doesn't help when you're releasing a Pro Bowl guy like Trey Turner. So, yeah. The Jets, they signed Niners running back Tevin Coleman, 1 year, $2 million deal there. I was kind of hoping that Chris would have been able to be on today to get his thoughts about Tevin Coleman, but unfortunately.
Shoot, he's a former Falcon. I'll pitch in a little bit. I mean, he was great as a secondary back. He was awesome as a secondary back. He put up numbers that made him look like he would be a great starting running back for a little bit. That's why he got the deal he did with the 49ers a couple years ago. He wanted to go back into that system where he thrived. But I'll tell you what, when he became the main ball carrier for the Falcons, he tanked. He couldn't stop fumbling and dropping the ball. I don't know what happened to him, but he's just average. I mean, 2 years, $2 million is a good deal for a guy that can run pretty well, but I don't know. I just don't think he's had a great season in 3-4 years where you can really trust him with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's been hurt. He hasn't really played that much in the last 3 years. So,
yeah, I mean, that too. I mean, that doesn't help anything for sure. He's always been injury prone.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right though. Because I believe the Jets are going to draft the running back early with their second round pick. Whether that's ETN or Najee Harris, one of those two. I think ETN is a good fit in Jets. So,
shoot, I'd be fine if the Falcons took Najee at 4. I mean, at this point, like, we don't get Zach Wilson, I'll take Najee.
Yeah.
Is that bad that I'm saying that right now? Like, oh my God, we're such a mess. I mean, we have this like fascination with wide receivers. Why not draft another one of them? But Najee Harris is going to be the best running back in the league in 2 years.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The Saints, they signed Broncos tight end Nick Vannett to a 3-year deal. Very surprised to see that. For one, they signed a guy to a multi-year deal. But yeah, Nick Vannett going to be the presumed, starter at tight end, unless Adam Troutman actually pans out as a former second-round pick 2 years ago. The Steelers, they, again, another team looking for offensive line help. Signed offensive lineman Joe Haeg to a 2-year deal, former Colt, swing tackle guy throughout his career in Indianapolis, can also play guard as well. But yeah, mostly a swing tackle, putting into the mix with Zach Banner and Chuck Okorafor there as the tackles in Pittsburgh this year. Steelers also signed Lions linebacker / special teamer Miles Killebrew to a 1-year deal. Solid special teamer there. They let Ola Adeniyi go in free agency, get his replacement essentially on special teams with Miles Killebrew there. The Giants, they signed Washington football team linebacker Ryan Anderson to a 1-year deal. He's going to end up probably being a D end. I highly doubt he's going to play off-ball linebacker in their 4-3 base. At least I think they still run a 4-3. Kind of blanking now and questioning myself, but yeah,
it's all good.
The Bills, they signed Panthers defensive end F.A. Obata to a 1-year deal. Very solid story as well for F.A. Coming over in the NFL's international program. Caught on with the Panthers, 5.5 sacks last year. Good rotational guy there. Just adds to a solid defense in Buffalo. Another former Falcon here, Jack. Bengals signed Falcon safety Ricardo Allen to a 1-year deal.
I'm going to miss that dude. I mean, the guy couldn't stay healthy the last 3 years, just like, every other good player on our defense from the Super Bowl run. But, I mean, from everything I heard in Falcons news, he's a really great locker room guy, and he was great on the field as well when he was able to play.
Yeah, Cincinnati building what looks to be a pretty solid defense coming up this year.
Well, shoot, you got to give Joe Burrow all the help he can get. why not replace the entire offensive line while you're at it? Make sure he doesn't, have to amputate a leg next time.
Yeah, that's why they're going to get a tackle at number 5 overall, most likely anyways. The Bears, they signed Chiefs running back Damian Williams to a 1-year deal. Add him to David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen in Chicago. Pretty solid trio of running backs for Andy Dalton.
Just makes me laugh every time I hear his name now.
The Raiders, they signed Ravens wide receiver Willie Snead to a 1-year deal. I didn't even know Willie Snead was a free agent. I thought he was still in Baltimore, but I feel like that's kind of a downgrade, as hard as that is to say. Losing Nelson Aguilar to the Patriots and then signing Willie Snead. I mean, because Nelson Aguilar had a certain skill set. Nelson Aguilar was a downfield threat. Willie Snead isn't fast. He's a middle of the field guy. So yeah,
he's like 6'5". Am I right?
Yeah, I think 6'3", 6'4". But yeah, I mean, I guess he does kind of fill their hole that Tyrell Williams was as their wide receiver to. Yeah. The Bills, they signed running back Matt Breida to a 1-year deal. Didn't do anything in Miami after getting traded from San Francisco during the draft last year, and stays in division though. So let's see if he does anything in Buffalo. I don't know. They need running back help up there. So
something tells me he won't, but good luck to him.
The Colts talked about they need offensive line help, especially at tackle, signing Chargers offensive tackle Sam Tevy. For Carson Wentz's sake, I pray that Sam Tevy is not the week 1 starter at left tackle. That would not be good. The Panthers, they signed Jets linebacker Frankie Louvu. Not a household name. I just know him, and I know I kind of wanted to add it in there for Chris's sake, big Jets fan. I knew he would have known who that was. So the Bengals, again, just adding defensive help here. They signed corner Eli Apple, another secondary piece there. Let's see. The Washington football team signing a couple guys here. Wide receiver Adam Humphries adds to a interesting wide receiver room now. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries in Washington. You had Steven Sims in there as well. And the football team also signed former Lions and Jets corner Darryl Roberts today. That actually happened today. So Washington getting some business done there. And that is all the signings we have. A couple of visits happening or did happen already this week. The Chiefs hosting Chargers defensive end Melvin Ingram in for a visit there. Staying in division, possibly, for Melvin Ingram. The Bengals, they hosted Washington football team defensive end Ryan Kerrigan. Washington is still interested in bringing him back. But yeah, Ryan Kerrigan possibly on the move here. The Browns, they hosted defensive end Jadeveon Clowney. This was the first time he actually met in person with the Browns face-to-face after they tried to acquire him for the last 2 years, really, going from the Texans to the Seahawks and then the Seahawks to the Titans. But yeah, Jadeveon Clowney could be in Cleveland. And the Cardinals possibly getting their backup for Kyler Murray this year. they hosted quarterback Colt McCoy for a visit there. So possibly.
He's still alive?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just doing commentary these days for college.
Nope, he was with the Giants last year. Daniel Jones backup, so possibly going to another young quarterback situation there in Arizona. And then the final one here, the Bills, they hosted Steelers safety Sean Davis for a visit. Hasn't really done anything since his rookie year after being a second-round pick for Pittsburgh. Okay, that is all the news. As far as I know, I have not seen anything noteworthy come across the Twitter feed here, except the Bills. Actually, they're hosting running back and returner Tyler Irvin on a visit. So they need a new returner after Andre Roberts left in free agency. Irvin, a solid returner for the Packers the last couple of years. And yeah, trying to see here. Yeah, I don't see anything to note. All right. So let's get into the FCS weekend here, game previews. And I know you don't know a lot about it, Jack, but it's fine.
I know absolutely zero. I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not good at keeping up with FCS. I know absolutely nothing about this.
It's fine. I know the most.
Right, give me your best sales pitch. Why should I watch the FCS?
Dude, the FCS is very interesting. It's still Division I football. And it's quality football, really. I mean, there's been some weeks that haven't been that great, but you know, it's always interesting. The top 25 is changing a lot from week to week. I feel like, and especially when you have a conference as good as the Missouri Valley Football Conference is, they're literally the SEC of FCS. They have, I think it's 6 teams in the top 25 right now. 3 of them are in the top, they have 3 in the top 8, I believe.
Okay, I see it.
But yeah, let's say 1, 2, 3. Actually, 3 in the top 6.
One thing to add next time, it's just football to watch football, man. Like, come on. It's spring. We never get football in the spring. We got to watch it while it's here.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it. I've been all in on this FCS spring season, man, and it's been pretty fun so far. Still got a little bit to go. So about a month left in the season, I believe, until the playoffs start. But yeah.
Playoff thing.
But yeah, we will start off here. Number 6, North Dakota, 8.5-point favorite at Youngstown State. I still like North Dakota. They let me down last week. Would have won my parlay had they won. But I understand
North Dakota State. Stop messing with the parlays.
I understand it was in Fargo against North Dakota State. But, you know, North Dakota, this has been their best season in quite a while, as far as I know. So, yeah, good for North Dakota. And this one's not going to be easy. It's an 8.5-point spread for a reason. Going to Youngstown State, they may be 1-4, but they fight. Dude. They are a scrappy little team there. The Youngstown State Penguins are. So, North Dakota, you better be ready to get up and fight for this one. So I still like you though. Tommy Schuster, Luke Skokna, and Otis Weah, the running backs there. Otis Weah, diminutive little guy, but he can fly. and he's tough. So go get the 5-1 North Dakota. I have my FCS parlay this week. I don't know if North Dakota is in it. I forgot to take a screenshot of it, but I will get it up here shortly. If my phone would like to load, that would be great. Let's see. I apologize. I have a stuffy nose today, so a lot of sniffing. But
hey man, this pollen coming into Georgia ain't something to joke about. I see it all in my car. I'm dreading it, man.
I know. Yeah. So I do have North Dakota actually. I got them when they were at 9.5. So I actually bought a half a point. It was 9, so I bought a half to get to 9.5, make it a 10-point game, North Dakota, and go win it. Yeah, so I like the Fighting Falcons here. Over under is 42.5 for this one. I like the under. I don't think Youngstown State can score that much, so I would say the under hits in this one.
Always bet the over. Always bet the over, Rusty.
Not how FCS has gone. Last week was the first week that teams really were scoring a lot. But so far, the majority of games have gone under. This one is 12 o'clock on ESPN+. All right, next one, Mercer at number 9, Chattanooga. Chattanooga, 10.5 points here. I would expect them to cover. Mercer, not very good at all. So I know our buddy Alex, his friend, kicks for Mercer. But yeah, Mercer is not going to win. The over-under for this one is 44.5. Again, I don't know how much Mercer can score. So, I mean, there is a possibility that this could be a half point over with the score being 35-10. But we shall see. This one also 12 o'clock on ESPN+. Next one here. I called this one the game of the week. Possibly other people would say the next one is the game of the week, but I'm going to go with this one here. Number 11, Delaware, 9.5 point favorites at number 18, Rhode Island. Rhode Island is on a hot streak right now. Back-to-back top 25 wins over number 6 at the time, Villanova. Beat number 18, Albany last week. And they're going to have a fight in this one. I know it's at home for URI, but the Blue Hens are hot as well, scoring 30-plus in both of their games, only giving up. I know their first game they won 37-3 over Stony Brook. Trying to remember their score last week here, or 2 weeks ago. They didn't play last week. Their game got postponed. 37-0 against Maine week 1, 31-3 against Stony Brook 2 weeks ago. So yeah, giving up 1.5 points per game in their 2 games. Pretty solid, I would say.
Kind of insane, actually. Like, that's kind of insane. I don't think I've ever heard of numbers like that.
Yeah, and the only issue I think that I have with Rhode Island is that both of their wins were in overtime. Granted, they were on the road at Villanova, at Albany, so that would made it tougher. But yeah, both games in overtime, beating Villanova by 3, 40-37, and Albany 17-10 last week. So yeah, I think it'll be close, but I do think the Hens get the win in this one. Over under is higher, 49.5 here. And that one I do like the over, Jack. It's a little high, but
over.
I already know Delaware can score, and
Hey, Rusty, Sorry, I gotta dip out for a minute. I'm getting a work call. I will try to hop back on, assuming it doesn't go long. I'll be back.
Yep, go ahead. So yeah, it's just me now, but it's okay. We're still rolling here. I love FCS, so I can talk all day about it, pretty much all day, anyways. Yeah, like I said, Delaware, I think, gets the win in this one. Over under is 49.5. I like the over. Delaware, we saw can score when I said they scored 37 and 31 in their two games. Had the 40-37 win for Rhode Island over Villanova a couple weeks ago. So they had the capability to score, only scoring 17 last week. But I do think they can get to 50 points in this one. This one is 12 o'clock tomorrow. All right. Next game. Again, some people would argue this is the game of the week here, but I like the Rhode Island Delaware game better. So, number 13, Incarnate Word heading to face number 17, Nicholls State. Nicholls State getting blown out a couple weeks ago by Sam Houston State. That was a 71-17 shellacking after Nicholls State had been averaging about 57 points per game, somewhere along those lines. And Incarnate Word has been sneakily very explosive. 48-20, 42-20, 56-45 last week over Southeastern Louisiana, the other two scores of their games there. Yeah, they can score, man. And it's I would expect this one to be high scoring. That is if Nicholls State can get back to how they were playing before the Sam Houston game. Lindsey Scott, very, very good before their last game a couple weeks ago. But Nicholls Incarnate Word is getting 7 here. And I actually think I might have been wrong on that. Just checking here the spread. But yeah, I was wrong on that. Nicholls State actually getting 4.5 here. But in my parlay, I like Incarnate Word plus 7.5. Like I said, they can score, and they can score a lot. Kind of scared about Nicholls State's ability to score as well, but I believe in the Cardinals, and I think they can get it done here. If not winning, they'll at least cover. They'll lose by 7. So. Excuse me, I got to sneeze. I feel like coming on. All right, never mind. Over under is 67 in this one. Like I said, I like it. I think the over will hit. Should be a shootout in this one. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the over hits in that one. 12 o'clock ESPN Plus. Next game here, number 22, Northern Iowa, coming off a loss, a second consecutive loss, kind of a shocker to Missouri State last week, 13-6. Heading to Western Illinois, who is 0-4 and not that good. Northern Iowa, a 6.5-point favorite. Now it's actually up to 7, but, you know, I don't know about Northern Iowa. They're 2-3, still sitting in the top 25. But yeah, I highly doubt they make the playoffs for one. But they can't score. They really can't. 21 is the most they've scored in a game this season. Scoring 21, they've scored 20 twice. 16 and 6. So yeah, I am just not confident in Northern Iowa. I would not touch this line for Northern Iowa at all. Over-under is 41.5. I'm going with the under because, again, Northern Iowa has not proven that they can score a lot of points. And Northern Iowa's defense is very good, so I would probably expect them to win this one and not let up many points to Western Illinois. 12 o'clock ESPN Plus as well for that one. Number one team in the nation, James Madison, having a couple games postponed in a row. So they haven't played since March 6th here. But they do travel to William & Mary this weekend. Not too familiar with William & Mary. We haven't really talked about them that much. But they lost to Richmond week 1, 21-14. Actually, that was their week 1. That was the last time James Madison played, March 6th there. Had a game postponed against James Madison. This is that rescheduled game here. They also beat Elon 31-10 last week. So not too familiar with William & Mary, but I do like James Madison in this one. 12.5 here. I got them at 13.5, so they got to win by 2 touchdowns. I believe the Dukes will get it done. And they need to play a lot better than they did before their 2-week hiatus there. Barely beating Elon by 3 was not a good look for James Madison. So, we'll have to see how they do back on the road again. But I do believe they can win by 2 touchdowns. Shouldn't be a problem for the Dukes anyways, in my opinion. Over-under is 45. I've been burned by the over for JMU before. So I'm going to go with the under. They'll beat them 35, 35-14, somewhere along those lines. That one is 1 p.m. tomorrow. Number 14, VMI, having a stellar season, 4-0 here at Wofford, getting 4 points for the Keydets. I like VMI in this one. I do not have them in my parlay. Oh, I do have Northern Iowa money line in my parlay. I do think they're going to win. Actually, I do have VMI in my parlay as well. Money line for the Keydets there. I do think that they're going to win. Wofford has not looked that good ever since being in the top 25. They beat Mercer 31-14, lost to Chattanooga 24-13, and then losing to Samford 37-31. So I don't think Wofford is that great. VMI has been playing very well. So I think that VMI can get it done and win that game there. Excuse me. But the over-under for this one, 44.5. I like the over. I think VMI can score enough. We showed that both teams, when they played Samford, high-scoring affairs there. So why not a high-scoring affair in this one? I like VMI to get the win here. 1 o'clock ESPN Plus there. All right, number 2, North Dakota State. Big win over North Dakota last week. Heading to South Dakota to play the Coyotes. 20.5 points here for the Bison. And it's actually down to 20. But, I don't really want to say I have confidence in North Dakota State. But after last week, they showed something. Lupke there, just fantastic. Fantastic game. Hunter Lupke, sophomore fullback. If they can keep that running game going, they should have no problem the rest of the season. Because Zeb Nolan, again, threw 2 interceptions. I still believe Cam Miller is the better option. to go with. Cam Miller has not been prone to turning the ball over when he has played and had his shots at throwing the ball. So, again, I think Cam Miller is the guy to go. Zeb Noland, sorry, but I think you should be on the bench, buddy. Bison, I'm not sure if they cover, but they probably should. Over-under is 43.5. I'm going to go just over. North Dakota State should score the majority of the points here. South Dakota pitching in for a little bit there. Should be able to get you over 43.5. 2 p.m. ESPN Plus. All right, Northern Arizona at number 3, Weber State. Weber, another massive line here. 22.5 here for the Wildcats. Yeah, Lumberjacks have no shot in this one. Weber State, they haven't played in a while. Couple weeks here, having their bye last week. So that was after a very tough win over UC Davis, 18-13. So we'll have to see how they come out against the Lumberjacks. But Lumberjacks also, they haven't played in 3 weeks, having their bye and also a postponed game in there as well. So that was coming off a loss, 45-13 drubbing by Eastern Washington. So wouldn't be surprised if Weber State covers it. I probably would not touch it, though, at this point. Big spreads are not very friendly. Over-under is 53. I think I'm just going to go just under. Weber can score. They should score against Northern Arizona. And I don't like it getting above 50, though. So that one is 2 p.m. Actually, it moved to 3 p.m. I should say 3 p.m. for that one there. All right. Number 10, Southern Illinois at Missouri State. The Bears, winners of 2 straight here. They are knocking on the top 25 door, getting some votes there for the top 25, but facing a number 10 Southern Illinois team that has been very solid up and down year, however, getting blown out at home last week against South Dakota State, 44-3, coming off a win over then number, I believe it was number 4, Northern Iowa. And yeah, I mean, they have 2 top 5 wins over North Dakota State, then number 1 North Dakota State, and number 4 Northern Iowa, like I said, or number 5 Northern Iowa. That was a 6-5 matchup there. But yeah, they've been so, especially on the road. They lost on the road at North Dakota. That loss, like I said, last week was at home, though, against South Dakota State. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Missouri State can win 3 in a row here, especially coming off their win over Northern Iowa. But, yeah, I think the Saluki should get the win. I would probably take Missouri State plus 10, however. I think that's a big line kind of for a team that's surging right now in Missouri State a little bit. So plus 10 for Missouri State, Mark's alma mater there. Over under 44.5. I like the under. Low scoring game in this one. Saluki's defense pretty solid. 3 p.m. ESPN Plus. Hey, what's up?
Arrived.
All right, keep rolling through here. Idaho State heading to number 15, UC Davis. UC Davis surprising so far this year. They're coming off a massive win over Cal Poly last week, 73-24. Gonna have a little bit harder time with Idaho State. Idaho State is a spread team. So wouldn't be surprised if this one gets up in the scores as well. I don't know if UC Davis is going to cover 16, so I'm not touching that. The over-under is very high. The second highest one we have this week, 65.5. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a high-scoring affair. I probably not touching that. That is a lot of points, 65.5. This one is 4 p.m. tomorrow.
That's a game I could get behind. That's 65.5 over under. Let's put points, man. Let's see like a 52 to 49 game, dude.
Like I said, Idaho State is a spread team. UC Davis, that's 73 last week. Cal Poly is not good.
It's off the field, man. Let's just see some offense.
All right. Next one here, number 21, Richmond, still undefeated, heading to Elon to play the Phoenix. Richmond, first time in the top 25 this year, so I haven't really been paying attention too much to them. 21-14 win over William and Mary. 38-14 win over Elon 2 weeks ago. A postponed game against James Madison in between. So this is the rematch between Elon and Richmond here. Both at Elon. That's interesting. You would think it would be a home and home series. But yeah, both are going to be at Elon. So I still like the Spiders in this one. I don't think they should have any troubles with Elon. Elon, very disappointing. Started out in the top 25 this year. Got drubbed by Gardner Webb week 2. Never recovered. Played well, though, against James Madison 2 weeks ago. Only losing by 3. So it should be an interesting game. But again, I like the Spiders. Probably big in this one. Cover the spread there for Richmond. Over-under is 46. Just over. This one also at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Talked about Cal Poly. When we were talking about UC Davis, they head to number 12 Eastern Washington. The Eagles getting 24 points in this one. I would expect something similar to Cal Poly's loss against UC Davis. Eastern Washington is a high-flying spread team as well. Yeah. They've scored 45 and 46 points the last 2 weeks. And last week, actually, or 2 weeks ago, they had a bye last week, but 2 weeks ago, yeah, talk about Idaho State. They gave Eastern Washington a game. 46-42 was the Eastern Washington win over Idaho State 2 weeks ago. So, Jack, you're gonna like this. Over under 69.5.
Hell yeah, brother! Let's go. Sounds like it's all going to be one team, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be Eastern Washington.
Blowout.
It's gonna be Eastern Washington. They're gonna have to score most of them if it's gonna get there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one hits the over. Cal Poly is proven to be not good at all. So
yeah, it sounds like it's almost an unwatchable game.
Yeah, they're gonna cover the spread 24. I know. Our boy Alex doesn't like those big spreads, but this one.
Oh, you shouldn't. I hate those big spreads. Don't touch them. That is my betting advice as a former big-time bettor for basically any sport that was on. Do not look at big spreads. It is not worth it. They are always so on the dot. It's insane.
This one, however, though, I would say is safer than normal.
Yeah, as far as like a safer big spread, yeah, but I mean, I'm with Alex on this one, man. We've talked about it before as well. It's better to stay away from those big spreads.
All right, this one is 4:05 p.m. tomorrow. All right, that is the last of the Saturday games. We do have two ranked teams playing on Sunday. Jacksonville State, Murray State consistently have been playing on Sunday. So Austin P at number 7, Jacksonville State, JSU. The Gamecocks should not have an issue. Austin P has been iffy. They played in the fall. So did Jacksonville State. That's why they're 7-1. But yeah, Austin P, this spring losing to Tennessee Tech, beating Tennessee State, double overtime win over Southeast Missouri State, losing by 3 last week to UT Martin. So they're going to fight. But I think Jacksonville State's too good. Zarek Cooper, Zion Webb, the quarterback there to go along with Josh Samuel and Uriah West, the running backs. JSU's defense is pretty good as well. So I like the Gamecocks in this one and to cover the spread. So
I only know things about like 4 FCS teams, but I do know that Jacksonville State is a very solid one, and I feel like they're a bad team to bet against most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. 53.5 is the over-under. Jacksonville State's over-unders have been up and down. They scored 27, 38, 37, and 21 in their 4 games in the spring here. So I don't know if it gets over. I would probably say under is safer in that one, especially against a team that can fight like Austin P can. 3 p.m. ESPN Plus on Sunday. Last game here on Sunday, Eastern Illinois at number 19, Murray State. Murray State has surprised me specifically this spring. 4-0, beating UT Martin, Southeast Missouri State, Tennessee Tech, and Tennessee State. They have a de facto conference championship coming up in April against Jacksonville State there. But, I believe they are going to get to that Jacksonville State game undefeated at 6-0. Eastern Illinois has not been that good. 1-3 this spring here, getting blown out by Southeast Missouri State, losing to UT Martin by 13. Tennessee State beat them by 1, and then they beat Tennessee Tech last week by 8. But, I like the Racers in this one. I don't know if they're going to cover, though. I would probably say they would, but I'm not 100% confident on it. So over-under is 44. I'm going under. Eastern Illinois is not going to score very much. 3 p.m. ESPN Plus. And Jack, while you're away, you missed the rest of my parlay, my FCS parlay this week. Chris always makes fun of me because I have not won an FCS parlay yet this spring.
Is that because you're taking big spreads?
No, it's not. Last week it was because North Dakota couldn't beat North Dakota State.
North Dakota State has been the best team in FCS for like 10 years now.
Their quarterback sucks. They had a 190-yard rushing 3-touchdown game by a guy that had been injured before last week.
Okay, so let's put it this way, Rusty.
That's how they won.
Alabama has not always had the best quarterback. We have said before that their quarterback sucks. And then all of a sudden, they get all these running backs that run for 4 touchdowns, and they have the best defense in their respective division. And they just roll over everybody because of coaching and overall team play, not just a quarterback. North Dakota State is the Bama of the FCS. That is one thing I do know.
Well,
they're the one team that I would recommend never betting against in the FCS.
North Dakota also imploded themselves by not converting fourth 4th and
Well,
short.
it's like watching Georgia Tech versus Georgia when Reggie Ball was the quarterback. Georgia Tech was always a decent team. They were always there. They were always in the game. And then Reggie Ball would throw a pick at the end of the game and cost everything.
I don't know. But the rest of my parlay here, I have North Dakota minus 9.5 here at Youngstown State. I got Incarnate Word plus 7.5 at Nicholls State. That's a ranked versus ranked matchup. James Madison, I have minus 13.5. That one is at William and Mary. I have VMI money line at Wofford, and I also have Northern Iowa money line. That one is, let's see, where's Northern Iowa at? They are at Western Illinois. So, yeah. That's,
well, the best I can say is good luck. I hope it wins.
Yeah.
If not, Chris has a great opportunity to make fun of you again next week.
I think the one I'm most scared about, or actually there's probably two. Northern Iowa money line, they can't score. They haven't scored over 21 this season in 5 games. But they're still ranked at 2 and 3. And the other one I'm kind of scared about is Incarnate Word plus 7.5. Nicholls State is a minus 4.5 in that one right now live. I got it at 7.5. Luckily for me. So Incarnate Word only has to lose by a touchdown to still cover. I think they can do that. It's going to be a high scoring affair. The over under for that one, you missed that. It's 67. I believe that one will go over. Incarnate Word can score with the best of them. And Nicholls State could too, before they got annihilated 2 weeks ago against Sam Houston State, 71-17. So, but yeah, that's the other one that I'm kind of scared about, though.
Fair enough. You doing any March Madness parlays this weekend? That's something I can help you with.
I did. Well, I showed you mine. I already showed you mine.
Honestly, I can't remember it. What are you doing?
Yeah, you told me one of them's going to screw it up, and I asked you which one, and he said,
"Oh yeah."
You said, "Who knows?"
Well, let's see.
For anyone that wants to
talk
know,
it through real quick.
Huh?
Talk it through real quick. Like, tell me which ones you have. I'll tell you which one's going to mess it up for you.
For anyone that wants to know, Rusty's weekend March Madness parlay here. Oregon State money line.
Who are they playing? I can't remember.
They are playing Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago.
Oh, that's the one that's going to mess you up.
I believe in the Beavers. And the Pac-12 only has one loss this tournament. So, Michigan money line.
Against Florida State?
Yes.
That one's tough. Because Florida State's a really, really good basketball team. I know they had 25 turnovers against Georgia Tech in the ACC championship that they lost, but they're still a really solid team. I don't know if Michigan's best player is back yet or not. I know he's been hurt for the entire tournament. I don't know if he's playing or not. But, I mean, it's never a bad bet betting on a 1 seed.
Yeah. I have Gonzaga minus 13 against Creighton.
They're playing Creighton. I really don't like minus 13.5 in a Sweet 16 game, but because it's Gonzaga and with everything that's happened with Creighton this year, I mean, I can get behind it.
And then I have
that one might screw you up though.
Then I have Oregon money line playing USC.
I don't love that one either.
And then Alabama money line.
That's the one I like the most.
UCLA.
I mean, the problem is, like, the first four that you just talked about are all pretty high risk. And when you throw four high-risk parlays together with one really solid one, that's when things get dicey.
It's okay. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, I mean, I could see two of them hitting. I just think, like, two of them are going to fail, you know? And I think that's best case scenario.
I was considering Oral Roberts' money line as well, but I didn't. I didn't go there.
I would have loved that. I would have loved that so much.
Did not go there. I couldn't. All right. Well, that is the basketball parlay anyways. So, all right, let's get into that is the rest of the FCS games we have. Now, to end the show here, we are doing an AFC South mock draft. This starts our divisional mock draft series here that we will have on the Friday and Monday show. So we're doing the divisions by their highest draft slotted team. So that's why we're starting with the AFC South tonight. Jags, obviously, number 1 overall pick. They also have number 25 overall. Their 2 second-round picks are 33rd and 45th, and then their third rounder is 65th. The Colts are the next AFC South team at number 21, and their second-round pick is number 54. They do not have a third-round pick. That was sent to the Eagles in the Carson Wentz trade. Titans next at number 22 overall. Their second-round pick is at 53, and they have 2 third-round picks. 85th and 100th is their compensatory selection that they got. And the Texans do not have a first or second-round pick as a part of the Laramie Tunsil trade to the Dolphins. Their first pick comes at number 67, and we're doing the first 3 rounds for this mock. So let me get the share new screen to the mock draft machine here, courtesy of the Draft Network. That is not the mock draft machine. That is the FCS logo, but we will get to the mock draft machine here. Let's go Texans, Titans, Colts, Jags. Gonna do next. Gonna do 3 rounds here. Normal speed, predictive board. Yes, sir. Let's start it here. So, obviously, Jags here.
You guys are drafting Tim Tebow, right? Now that he's done with baseball.
So we're gonna go Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall with the Jags. Everyone knows that's what the move is.
No, I thought he was gonna drop the 4. You know.
All right, here we go. We got
the other guys. The other guys are way better. They don't need Trevor Lawrence.
All right, we got Zach Wilson at 2, Trey Lance at 3, Kyle Pitts at 4, Penei Sewell at 5, Jamar Chase to the Dolphins, Jalen Waddle to the Lions, Justin Fields to the Panthers. See, there you go. Micah Parsons to the Broncos at 9, Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys, Devontae Smith to the Giants, Mac Jones to the Eagles. Wow. Rashawn Slater to the Chargers, Christian Darrisaw to the Vikings, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah to the Patriots, J.C. Horn to the Cardinals, Elijah Vera Tucker to the Raiders, Najee Harris to the Dolphins, Tevin Jenkins to the Washington football team, and Rashad Bateman to the Bears at 20. So, Jack, where are we going with the Colts at 21 here?
You're going to have to tell me, man.
The Draft Network has their top need as offensive tackle. But let's see.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't have, since I'm driving right now, I don't have like a list of prospects or anything. And that was a lot of names you just rattled off there. So do me a favor, maybe pick a couple of players and I can give a little feedback on mine on a pick. How does that work for you?
Yeah, so like I said, the Draft Network has their top need as offensive tackle. I would probably say the top offensive tackle left right now is Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame. Jalen Mayfield, also from Michigan, is there. Daniel Jeremiah, I know, has him as his number 3 tackle, Jalen Mayfield. So, but the top prospect overall is Travis Etienne. Colts obviously do not need a running back. Could go Azeez Ojulari, though. They do need edge rush help. They're in Indy. Also, their second need is corner here. So top corner available is Greg Newsome from Northwestern. Caleb Farley also there as well.
Well, we touched on this a little bit earlier. The Colts need to find a way to protect Carson Wentz. Otherwise, they're just not going to win as many football games as they're supposed to. The last couple of years, I've really felt like the Colts were just a quarterback away from a Super Bowl appearance, honestly. Like, I thought their defense has been fantastic. They have skill position players. They've got a couple different running backs that can get the job done. I think the most important thing is protecting Wentz at this point. So I think offensive line is the right way. And I think that guy out of Notre Dame or Michigan is probably the best option for him if they're still available. Those are both very prestigious programs that have produced a lot of good talent in the NFL over the years. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them.
Sorry, I kind of blanked. Which guy did you say you think you're going with?
I can't pronounce his name. I have this thing that I like to call name pronunciation dyslexia. So that guy out of the offensive lineman out of Notre Dame you mentioned, and the one out of Michigan.
Liam Eichenberg, Jalen Mayfield.
Yes. Mayfield I could have pronounced. I just couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Eichenberg here. I like...
One question I like to ask with offensive line prospects in the first round, who has longer arms?
I have no idea.
Here's the reason I asked that question. I think it was back in maybe 2009, 2010. The Falcons drafted this guy named Sam Baker. And he had the shortest arms out of any prospect in the NFL. And ever since then, I've had this weird thing about offensive linemen with short arms because he was a total bust. He didn't do anything in the NFL. And I think part of that was he had the short arms that couldn't push the defensive. He was a tackle. I think he was a left tackle. Might have been a right tackle. But, he couldn't he didn't have the arm length to push the defensive ends away. So I would go with the one that has longer arms because they're both very good prospects.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Liam Eichenberg.
But, it's something to think about.
Liam Eichenberg to me just seems like he's a cool. He's a road grinder. I like Eichenberg to the Colts there at number 21. Might be a little high for him. Him and Jalen Mayfield actually probably a little high for both of them, but we're gonna go.
Well, when you're drafting in the NFL draft, sometimes it's about drafting the best player available because you're just not all that great. Teams can draft the second wide receiver if he's the absolute best prospect on the board. But in terms of what the Colts need, the Colts are set. At a lot of different positions, they need the best prospect that can push them over the edge. They've got a quarterback, like I just mentioned. They need to protect Wentz. They need to go offensive line.
Yeah. I agree here. And just an update here. Did get some news come in. The Ravens have signed Chiefs wide receiver Sammy Watkins. 1 year, $6 million, $5 million fully guaranteed.
You remember when he used to be good?
Baltimore tried to get all the freaking receivers this year, and they failed at every single stop except for Sammy Watkins. So they tried to get Conte, they tried to get Juju.
Trying to get Aguilar too, didn't they?
I think so, yeah. None of them worked. They finally have one in Sammy Watkins.
Maybe he can reinvigorate his career. There was a time where he looked like he was going to be one of the best prospects in the league.
Yeah.
He's still young. He's still like 26, 27, isn't he?
Yeah, somehow. No clue how, but yeah. Sammy Watkins, new receiver in Baltimore.
Hey, buddy, I'll be right back. Grayson's calling me. I'm going to let him know where I'm at.
Okay, all good. All right, we are on the Titans here. So the Titans, their defense is absolutely terrible. Didn't really get too much, help as far as reinforcements at the corner position. I do agree with the Draft Network here and that their number one need is a corner. And from what it looks like on the board, Greg Newsome is that number one guy there. They did get Bud Dupree. But as far as fitting need with, the board, the draft board here, I don't think I can go Greg Newsome at 22. I like Azeez Ojulari there, that 3-4 base that they run. So yeah, I'm gonna go Azeez Ojulari to Tennessee. At me for if you want Titans fans, but I think Azeez Ojulari, Bud Dupree, that duo will be absolutely dynamite, and it will help mask the secondary deficiencies there for the Titans. So here we go. We got Travis Etienne to the Jets, their second pick. Javonte Williams to the Steelers. That's very surprising there. I did not think Javonte Williams was a first round running back, but okay. That's why it's CPU controlled here. So, anyways, Jaguars first round pick here. So we got the quarterback. I think this is probably where Jalen Mayfield could go. I mean, they did sign Cam Robinson to the franchise tag. They need some help here. Pitts is gone, obviously, way gone. And, we could get Freiermuth possibly at our second selection. He kind of fell out there at the end of his Penn State career. But I'm going to go, I'm going to go safety. I'm going to go Trayvon Moehrig. Jags need help on defense as well. I like Moehrig with Jacksonville. So yeah, we're gonna keep helping their defensive side of the ball there. Kwity Paye goes to the Browns there at 26. Jalen Phillips to the Ravens, filling Matt Judon's spot there, and Yannick Ngakoue. Terrace Marshall, new weapon for Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, whoever it is down in New Orleans. Greg Newsome goes to the Packers at 29. Jason Owe to the Bills at 30th. Sam Cosmi, Chiefs need offensive line help there at 31. And Gregory Rousseau rounds out the top first round here. So second round here, day 2. A lot of good players still available here. I, however, am going to get a guy that I absolutely, I think that Jalen Mayfield's sitting there. They do need offensive tackle. But I'm not going to let Pat Freiermuth sit there. I'm going to go get Pat Freiermuth from Penn State. Give Trevor Lawrence a middle of the field guy here. Nick Bolton to the Jets here. Zaven Collins to the Falcons. Ronnie Perkins to the Dolphins. Caleb Farley goes to the Eagles. Eric Stokes to the Bengals. Jalen Mayfield, big get by the Panthers there. Kyle Trask in the second round to the Broncos. Aaron Robinson to the Lions. Baron Browning, Giants. Dylan Radins, and Alex Leatherwood to the Niners and Cowboys, respectively here. So we still need some offensive line help for the Jags, possibly. But excuse me there. I don't know. The top of the board, I like Barmore. I like Tony. Hey, Jack, we got made some picks here. So I went Azeez Ojulari to the Titans at 22 there. I thought that fit him and Bud Dupree would wreak havoc off the edge for Tennessee.
Sure.
Kind of mask their secondary deficiencies there. And the next two picks were the Jags, 25th and 33rd. I went Trayvon Moehrig, helped their secondary there.
I like it.
And then interesting pick at the top of the second round I went with Pat Freiermuth.
Okay.
I liked getting Trevor Lawrence a middle of the field threat. They needed a tight end anyways. So that's where I went.
The most important thing for a rookie quarterback is to have some weapons around him. I don't hate it.
Yeah, so we're back at the Jags again for their fourth pick here. Number 45 overall, top targets on the board. I already said that, but Christian Barmore, Kadarius Toney is there. Levi Onwuzurike, the defensive lineman out of Washington. Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, and Creed Humphrey, the center out of Oklahoma. Those are the top 5 guys, anyways, on the board. The next need that the Draft Network says for the Jags is tackle. Position is kind of depleted at this point, though. Brady Christensen, the number 1 guy on the board at offensive tackle out of BYU. So I'm not going to go tackle. I think Toney,
Sure.
Sitting there. More receivers. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got good potential, especially with Trevor Lawrence as quarterback.
All right, let's get Kadarius Toney here. Elijah Moore to the Patriots, Joseph Osai to the Chargers, Christian Barmore to the Raiders, like that one. Michael Carter to the Cardinals, Creed Humphrey to the Dolphins, Kelvin Joseph to the Washington football team, Wyatt Davis to the Bears. And just to give you some highlights of the picks that you missed from the computer, other teams.
Where'd ETN go?
ETN went to the Jets at 23.
Tragic.
Yeah. And then your Falcons, second round, Zaven Collins. I love Zaven Collins.
Who is that?
Linebacker out of Tulsa.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a shocker, I thought. Kyle Trask goes in the second round of the Broncos at number 40.
No way. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Very shocking there here. All right.
He's a 6th round quarterback in my book.
We are back with the Titans and Colts back to back here. So Titans still need secondary help, probably. They also need a tackle, considering they don't have Isaiah Wilson at right tackle anymore. But how do you feel about going Asante Samuel Jr. here for the Titans?
Sure. Sounds like a good fit.
Yeah, definitely they need secondary help. Apparently the Colts also need secondary help. That is their second need per the Draft Network here. Eli Molden is ranked 65th on the board. This is pick number 54. But you know what? I love Landon Dickerson, but they don't need interior offensive line in Indy. We talked about how we both don't really believe in T.Y. Hilton. He's getting older. Michael Pittman needs a new running mate. Rondale Moore is sitting there. So I'm going to go Rondale Moore for Indy. He stays in Indiana. Went to Purdue for his college pursuits. So yeah, staying in the state of Indiana. Rondale Moore goes to the Colts here. 5-7. Jack.
Jeez.
Oh my God, I love that pick. Landon Dickerson to the Steelers. Levi Onwuzurike to the Seahawks. Brady Christensen to the Rams. Amari Rodgers to the Ravens. Davion Nixon to the Browns. Elijah Molden to the Saints. Brevin Jordan to the Bills. Jamin Davis to the Packers. Trey Smith to the Chiefs. Milton Williams to the Bucks. All right. I believe this is the last Jags pick, I believe. So to recap for the Jags, we got Lawrence at 1, Trayvon Moore at 25, Freiermuth at 33, Kadarius Toney at 45. Probably go back to defense, right? I would think.
Yeah, it's time to beef up that defensive line, in my opinion.
All right. Well, The highest, well, we got edge rusher Joe Tryon out of Washington there. He's the highest edge rusher. As far as
actually, hang on. We're talking about the Jaguars here. It's a completely different story than what I was saying about the Colts a minute ago. You know, there's a lot of help that needs to be had in Jacksonville. So, what is the best available player?
Jabril Cox, the linebacker out of LSU.
Oh, he's a stud.
Well,
shoot, he's my pick now. Let's go, Cox.
The top interior defensive lineman is Tommy Togiai out of Ohio State. But yeah, I mean, I do like Jabril Cox as well. I believe that's a solid fit. They need linebackers there. So even though actually linebacker is not listed as one of the needs for the Jags.
What are their needs? I bet quarterback's one, like obviously.
Yeah, so we already crossed off
that off the list.
Already crossed off quarterback. Offensive tackle is actually a need, it says here. That's their second need, which there is an offensive tackle available in the top 5 players on the board here. James Hudson out of Cincinnati.
What are his strengths?
I'm not too familiar with James Hudson. 6'4", 302.
Sounds like the type of dude that would be really good at run blocking. They need a pass blocker. They need that left tackle that can just step in there and protect the hell out of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, the report here says ideal role is developmental offensive tackle. Scheme fit is zone rushing attack. So I mean, it's a fit. And I guess we'll go with James Hudson. Sure.
Sure. How many more picks we got, Rusty?
Couple more. We got the Texans first one, only pick here, and then I think we got I think we got Titans, Colts, and then Titans again. I think those are the last 3.
All right, well, let's speed through them real quick because I'm pulling up to Rusty, or not Rusty's here. I'm back in Athens officially now. And I'm sorry I've been in and out, but I am starving. I am absolutely starving. I've got to get some food here. I'm going to turn into a monster.
You're good. We got Joe Tryon going in between the Jags and Texans picks here for the Jets. So Texans first pick here, only pick that we're doing for them. Top need is corner, apparently. Jabril Cox still the number one guy there. The highest guy that fits one of their top 3 needs is interior defensive line. That's Tommy Togiai out of Ohio State.
That's the one. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I'd probably go that's for them there.
They got to replace Watt somehow.
Your Falcons got Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest, Javon Holland to the Bengals, Jabril Cox to the Eagles. I love that. Tutu Atwell to the Broncos, Pete Warner to the Lions, Tommy Tremble to the Panthers, De'Ami Brown to the Washington football team, Janarius Robinson to the Cowboys, Ifeatu Melifonwu to the Giants, Richie Grant to the Chargers, Jamar Johnson to the Vikings, Chad Surratt to the Raiders, Jackson Carman to the Raiders, Spencer Brown to the Dolphins, Hamza Nasirildeen to the Washington football team, Tyson Campbell to the Bears, Tylan Wallace to the Eagles. Love the Eagles pick so far. Back with the Titans here. Look at that. Top need is a wide receiver. They need a number 2 now. Corey Davis is gone. They picked up Josh Reynolds. They need number 2. We got 3 guys sitting at the top here. Nico Collins from Michigan, Dwayne Eskridge from Western Michigan, and Amon-Ra St. Brown from USC. Personally, I love Dwayne Eskridge. I don't think he's the kind of fit that they need, though. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, though, to the Titans. So, yeah, we're going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown to Tennessee here. Jets taking Nico Collins, Sean Wade to the Steelers, Josh Myers to the Rams, Dwayne Eskridge to the Browns, Peyton Turner to the Vikings, Paulson Adebo to the Browns, Demetric Felton to the Packers, Kenneth Gainwell to the Bills, Hunter Long to the Chiefs, Frank Darby to the Bucks, Kellen Mond to the Patriots. They got their guy.
Good
Kellen,
for them. Look
at
at them finally drafting a quarterback. It's about time.
In the third round, yeah. Elijah Griffin to the Chargers, Quincy Roche to the Saints, Marlon Tuipulotu to the Cowboys. And this is actually the last pick. Titans at number 100 here. Oh, man, if he was only a tackle, I would put him with the Titans, but I can't. Quinn Miners is the number one guy on the board right now. I don't know if you know who Quinn Miners is, Jack.
I do not. I don't really know who any of these third-round prospects are, honestly, unless they come from like a big school.
Well, definitely does not come from a big school. Wisconsin Whitewater, Division III. Just look him up on Google sometime. Look up images of Quinn Miners.
I will.
He always has the gut hanging out of his shirt. It's great. We already got the Titans a corner. So Keith Taylor, Benjamin St. Juste, the top two corners there, not really a need. Oh, man, this is tough with the Titans here. Not a lot of needs fitting what not a lot of guys fit what their top needs are here. So, I think we're just going to go best available player. I want to do Quinn Miners, but I'm not going to take him. I'm going to give them another corner. Keith Taylor out of Washington. Let's do it. Back second corner for the Titans. Their secondary needs all the help they can get. Finishing it out here, Deontay Smith to the Lions, Quinn Miners to the Niners. Cameron McGrone to the Rams, Andre Sisco to the Ravens, and finishing it out, Dylan Moses to the Saints. Solid selection there. Alrighty. You can see all of our picks here. We had Trevor Lawrence to the Jags at 1, Liam Eichenberg to
we had Tim Tebow at the Jags.
Azeez Ojulari to the Titans at 22, Trayvon Morig to the Jags at 25, Pat Freiermuth to the Jags at 33. Also to the Jags at 45 was Kadarius Toney. Titans took Asante Samuel Jr. at 53, Rondale Moore to the Colts at 54, James Hudson to the Jags at 65, Tommy Togiai to the Texans at 67, Amon-Ra St. Brown to the Titans at 85, and Keith Taylor Jr. to the Titans at 100. That is our AFC South mock draft here. We will have that posted on our social media after the show. But that is all the show for today. Very fun having you on, Jack. As always, next week we will have all of the FCS previews as well as the NFL and NCAA news and notes. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Check out our website, faapodcast.com. We also have our shop. Just click shop in the top right corner there. We have a lot of good stuff there to purchase. What's up, Grayson? How you doing?
Yeah, we're getting a little cameo appearance from Grayson here.
I'll be on next week if you want me to.
Sure. Hey, thanks for having me, Rusty. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you. And we'll see you on Monday.